sheep, and right now they have lambs. So we have Jacob's sheep. Now, a couple of weeks ago, it was lambing season, and they have all successfully had their babies. These are our lambs. They're very cute. They'll play sometimes, but for right now they're resting. The lambs are purely black and white. Now, due to our dirt, which being a red, muddy color, they will roll in the dirt and get muddy, which means that they turn a sort of reddish grayish. Now, this is Beverly, our sheep. This is one of our sheep's Beverly. She has lilac color, and if you cannot tell, Shanti over there has a little more black in her wool coat. And if you look at Beverly's face, she has a little more gray. Now this is a lilac. If I can find her babies real quick. Those are Shanti's babies. These are Beverly's babies. So we have not named them yet. Over here, we can just see Jack the chicken. But also, this is Dancer's babies. Now, a funny story behind Dancer. My mom, which is recording this video right now, will sometimes go out to feed. And in the early days of us having the farm, we found that Dancer would, when she heard Mom coming with the feed, would actually jump up into the air and start wiggling her butt. Now, that gave her the nickname Dancer. Now, as they get older, the lambs will become more independent of the moms. This is Willa. As we can see, she was a lamb from last year. She is a bottle-fed lamb and she's friendly-ish, but she doesn't want to be petted.
Morning. We just down here, John was talking to you about the lambs. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of our chores today. Today we're going to go ahead and clear out around the bottom of the grapevines. Unfortunately, we do it with the scissors and it takes a little while, but we have a couple different varieties of grapes. We have the muscadine. They do really well here locally, so they take a lot less effort. We also have a couple wine varieties. If you look right over here, the small one that's coming into bloom over here, that's an actual Merlot variety. I'm going to actually have to transplant that one because it's too close to the other one here. But right now we're trying to expand every year. We got these in pretty early because it takes about 3 seasons to really start producing grapes. And last year was the first year we had enough grapes to really harvest, but the kids eat them faster than they come in, so we didn't get to make any wine this year. But hopefully this year we can do a good production. Hope we can make a little bit of wine, maybe have a little bit of table grapes to eat. But we'll expand this every year. But that's it. We're going to get started on our chores. Finish up here. Grapes have a tendency to be really hard on the soil. So what'll happen is you'll get a really good production for about 4 or 5 years, and then they kind of fade out and they'll start just dying off every year. In order to keep that pushing and keep that going longer, especially the local grapes, the muscadine, what we'll do is when we're done here and we get it all cleaned up, we're going to take about 1 cup, or I shouldn't say a cup, about a mason jar, and we're going to sprinkle some 10-10-10 around this. And we're going to do this tonight, and we scheduled this for today because there's a 100% chance of rain tomorrow. And what it'll do is it'll give it a chance to nice and soak into the soil, and it'll hopefully, we do that twice a year. We do it early on, right as they're starting to come out of being dormant, and we'll do it right after they go into being dormant. And that's just the way we do it. And then maybe it'll help them get a few more years of growth. And these guys right now are pushing about, some of them are 2 years and some of them are 3 years old. Well, now I'm just clearing back with scissors far enough to get back when I'm going to come through here with the weed eater, weed whacker, and I'm going to be able, I just want to make sure I don't hit this. I don't want to damage the grape, or damage the base here. So I'm going to clear back like this, about this far with the scissors, and that'll be it. Then I'll come back here with the weed eater. And I left if John will turn around there and show you, it's wide enough in here I can get a lawnmower in here. So that was done on purpose, and it's also done to prevent shading. So as these get up and get full sun or get full in bloom, they don't shade. And also, if you'll notice, I'll show you our trellis here, the way our trellis is put together. These are UV resistant plastic lines, and John will come here and zoom in on this. These are one-way little connectors, so you can pull tighter, but it can't pull back through. This works out quite well. And you can put screws in this, but I found there's no need to. And all this stuff you can be ordered at Orchard Valley Supply. That's where we get all of our stuff at, orchardvalley.com, I believe. I'll see if I can find it and link the description in the bottom. But this worked great for trellises. If you look over at this trellis, this is the original trellis. And this trellis has been up. We had grapes here about 5 or 6 years ago, and then they got mowed down by a guy that was mowing the grass, so We no longer, we mow the grass ourselves. But, so these have been here about 4 or 5 years and we've had no issues. This stuff's still holding strong. Doesn't seem to be rotten. Doesn't seem to have any issues with UV. So this stuff seems to work really good. And you can order different gauges. So just make sure you get the gauge appropriate to match your things if you decide you want to build your own trellises. And I'm getting ready to add another trellis. And when I do that, we'll try to do a video on trellis production. You'll notice right here on the ground, what we're actually doing is we're just trying to clear out to give this, open this up to make sure that it's not all growing up over it, and trying to kill some of the competition with the grass around it. I don't want the grass gone though, because I want good drainage and I want everything here to work good. So you don't mulch grapes. Grapes don't do well. The soil has to be very well draining with grapes. So leaving this here helps it drain, helps soak up the water, but it also, we want to keep it short and keep this clear. And I have not found a way to do this effectively with a weed eater, because every time I try, I end up hitting this if I get too close. So this is the way I'm doing it. I could put something like this all the way around it to protect it, and then I could probably weed eat around it. But we do this about once a month, so it's not too bad. When I say once a month, I mean once a month through the growing season, usually from like March to late fall, and then we'll stop doing it. Once the grass stops growing, it's not a problem. These right here, these are stakes with these little hooks on them. These work really good. We bought these at Rural King, and we find they work really well. Then what they do is we're able to prop the line up on them, and they hold, because when this thing gets full of fruit here in another, I don't know, by the end of summer, I should say, by fall, these things get heavy. And last year we had them pulling all the way to the ground. So we went through, and if you look here, we've added them in the middle just to give it a little more support. And I'm actually probably gonna add a couple more the next time we make the trip out to Rural King. We're gonna be putting 10-10-10 on here. We try our best not to use any kind of, we don't use pesticides at all. But when it comes to like fertilizer, a little compost around it helps. But 10-10-10 is about the only thing we found that really works on the grapes. And it's basically, I think it really needs the nitrogen. What I do is I use about this much. It's not, no kind of science behind it. Kind of sprinkle it around. And I always try to do it right before it rains, just to make sure that it soaks into the ground. And it rained here not for last two, so the ground's not really dry, because fertilizer can burn your plant up. And that's it. That's it, just like that. I'll rinse and repeat for all of them, and we'll do that twice a year. Finished up, we cleared out the grapevines. We put the 10-10-10 down. Now we just hope it rains, because if it doesn't rain, we'll come up here tomorrow and water. And once they get a season or two on them, after that first year, that first initial plant, you really don't have to water grapes at all, so that works out really well. In fact, and we'll talk about this more, but when they start to come time for them to ripen and time to pick, you want a good couple weeks with no rain at all. That way they get really, really juicy. But so we're done here. We're going to go around. We have about a dozen fruit trees. We're going to do the same thing. We're not going to cut those though. We have mulch around those, so it's not a big deal. We're going to pull the mulch back, drop in some 10-10-10, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do that off camera. I will link the Orchard Valley just so you can see if you're interested in supplies. I've never had a problem with them. They've always worked out really good. And this stuff's over here has been up for over 5 years. I haven't had to replace it, and it's showing no signs of rot. And I'll get that linked, and also we'll link the page if you're interested in lambs. Well, we usually take them to auction. Once they get some weight on them, we take them some to auction, but the auction is shut down right now due to the virus. So if you're interested in lambs, or you're interested in the mothers, or a combination of both, we will have those for sale, and you can hit me up, message us on Facebook, and we discuss that offline. And that's it. And you guys, if you'll please subscribe, we're going to try to grow our channel and try to show you anything you want to see. And again, we're not professional farmers. We're learning as we go, and we like doing it. And so hit us up. Thank you. I'm not sure you guys can see this, but we're out here doing the trees. We're putting down the fertilizer around the trees. And these is the 6th and 7th snake we've seen. They're everywhere. These two are laying pretty still. I think they're pretty cold. What we do is we got the trees surrounded by those foam things, and these snakes, man, they just seem to absolutely love getting under it. So today that's 7 snakes and we still got 3 trees to go.